Jordan Magee, NFL, Commanders, linebacker, professional. Got to sound cool. Congrats for the time. Thanks so much. Welcome to Washington, Jordan.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. Ready to raise hell.
I bet. Congrats. And what a couple of days for you, man. How has it been now over these first 4 or 5 days as a professional football player?
It's been crazy just doing a lot of interviews, talking with the coaches. It's still surreal that I'm in the NFL. But I'm just taking it day by day, continuing to work.
What was your expectation going into the draft? What were you told?
Going into the draft, they had me as like a fourth round, early day 3 pick, with the possibility of going like late day 2. So right around where I got drafted.
Washington calls your name. How much did they stand out there in the process? Was that a team that you knew was on you or no?
No, I actually did not know they was on me, but they said they was holding out for me until the 5th round. They said maybe if they had a 4th round pick, they would have chose me in the 4th, but they were holding out to the 5th to get me. I had barely had any communication with them throughout the whole process, the combine and like all the interviews and things like that. But during the season of my senior year at college, they came in a lot. Like they would have national scouting director come in, area scouting come in a lot. So they was around, but just not during the draft process.
Temple linebacker Jordan Magee on Grant and Danny. So I take that to mean then no combine interview, no 30 interview, like no formal sit down where they're grilling you with a bunch of members of the staff.
Yeah, no, none of that.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. I would imagine there were teams that, did a lot of interviews and spent a lot of time with you where you're like, okay, I'm probably going there. The draft is just one of those funny things. You just can't predict it.
No, most definitely. I had a former teammate of mine, Sean Bradley. He told me that most of the times, the team that you're not in contact with the most is the team that's eyeing to draft you.
That's funny. Well, it worked out that way for you. Listed at 6'3", 210 pounds. Temple product who was in the American Conference, 80 tackles each of the last couple of years, 14 TFLs, 3.5 sacks this past year. So break your game down for Commanders fans who have never seen you play. How would you describe your style of play at linebacker?
I say very physical, very rangy sideline to sideline. I used to play quarterback, so I like to use my smarts to really get ahead of what's going on in the play and really diagnosing it. That's how I would describe my game. Very physical and tough.
Are you a film junkie or are you just naturally able to kind of see things on the field?
I say everybody should be a film junkie. Like I spend a lot of time watching film. It's not not too much because like when you're studying for a test, if you study too much, you'll start doubting yourself and like start forgetting things. Honestly, but I watch a lot of film. But I say it's just natural ability too. Also,
Jordan Magee on Grant and Danny. So you see things coming. You're smart players. You said you're cerebral. When I first watched after they drafted you, kind of the highlight package, and then went back and watched one of the games that was available online, 2 things stood out. One, you play fast. You're very physical. But just physically, you seem slender. And I just wonder how much of either a knock or something that you've always had to overcome maybe that is. Not to say you're undersized, but your body type doesn't really look like a Mike linebacker per se.
Yeah, especially in this new day and age, times are changing. I've always had a slender build, but I've always been very strong for my size. So, I can hang in there with offensive linemen and tight ends and things like that. And honestly, I feel like that's a good thing about my build, me being able to move how I move, it just helps me in that aspect of the game to cover tight ends and running backs, beat tackles and stuff on blocks.
That's where I was going next is I wonder if you are, more happy and, comfortable like running sideline to sideline on the second level, hitting people, or coming downhill and engaging with the big boys.
I'm comfortable at both. I like coming down and engaging with the big boys. That's the trenches. not too much good stuff goes around there, and that's how I like to categorize myself as, someone who's not afraid to put their nose in things and really get after it.
14 tackles for loss is pretty incredible in a season for an off-ball linebacker. And over the last 2 years, 23. Did they blitz you a lot, or is that some of that diagnosing run stuff you're talking about? How did you get to that number?
It's a lot of diagnosing run stuff. This previous season, the 2023 season, we really didn't blitz a lot like we did the 22 season, but I was very productive with the blitzing that was called. I think I had like 36 blitzing snaps, and I had like 20 pressures out of those 36 blitzing snaps and 6 sacks.
Wow. First of all, good numbers. Second of all, the fact that you know him is awesome. I love that. My guy's diving into the data in his off time. My guest is Jordan Magee, linebacker who the Commanders just drafted, joining us here on Grant and Danny. So have they said anything to you, or have you had any conversations since the phone calls that we've all seen that kind of went viral in terms of how they want to use you?
Yeah, so I've been talking with Coach Ken Norton. We've been having Zoom meetings, just going over install. They see me as a will with the possibility of playing Mike, so he wants me to cross-train and learn both.
Okay, very cool. And when they say we like you as a will, what does that tell you about how they might use you?
From a blitzing aspect, being able to cover running backs and tight ends and things like that.
There's a much improved group in that linebacker room. It's been something
100%.
of a weakness here, but they went out and they got Frankie Louvu. I don't know how much you know about him, but I don't think I've had more fun watching tape on anybody this offseason than him. And then obviously future Hall of Famer Bobby Wagner. So give me a thought on playing with those two guys.
It's gonna be crazy. They're two vets. One's a Hall of Famer and one's working his way to be a Hall of Famer. Those two guys, being able to gain knowledge from those two guys, is just going to be incredible, especially with Coach Ken Norton coaching. He's played linebacker back in the day, just having all those great minds in the room to learn from, it'll be very exciting.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but Norton as a coach, pretty awesome. We've heard so many guys talk about being excited to play for Dan Quinn, who just seems like a popular guy with players. I don't know how well you've gotten to know Joe Witt, but his press conference day one here was like run through a brick wall stuff. It's not a bad landing spot for a guy that likes to hit people.
Nah, 100%, 100%. I feel like all the coaches, they're bringing a new excitement to the Commanders. Coach Dan Quinn, he's a great coach. The whole organization is great from the owner down.
Jordan Magee on Grant and Danny here on The Fan, one of the newest Commanders, part of this 9-player draft class. Who are your favorite linebackers growing up to study, and who do you think your game resembles? If you could give me like a comp of someone that maybe while you're playing, you look like a little bit.
So when I was growing up, I was a Ravens fan, so I watched a lot of Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. But since I was in college, some of my favorite players to watch was like Fred Warner. That's your prototypical linebacker. He does everything right. But someone I really compare myself to a little bit, I would say Williams from the Jets, the linebacker. Just the way he runs and hit. That's how I feel like I can impact the game too.
Okay, Quinnen's brother, second team All AAC, led the team in tackles and TFLs, team captain. Missed his final game with a bicep injury. I'd imagine that's all cleaned up. You're ready to go.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Very cool. Jordan Magee here on Grant and Danny. What's the timeline now? I've talked to a bunch of the guys from this class. I'm not sure that we really have a feel. So rookie mini camps obviously coming up. Like, what's your lay of the land moving forward to try to get to DC and find a place to live and all that?
So we have rookie mini camp coming up May 9th. I'm going to drive my car down to Ashburn, Virginia. It's about 3.5 hours from Philly. I'm up at Temple right now. And then after that, you have voluntary OTAs, I think, and then mandatory OTAs. And then towards like August, September, that's when I'll probably plan on getting a house down there. Maybe early August, because my girlfriend too, she plans on coming down. So yeah, I'll probably get a house probably around August, like early August, late August. And then, yeah,
Nice. You got to get over by One Loudon. Good restaurants, some cool bars. You got a movie theater right
Uh-huh.
there. It's got everything
That's
that
what
you
I
need
heard.
right near the
That's what I
facility.
heard.
Yeah, that's where you'll want to be. You were born in Towson, right? But you're from Delaware. I have that correct?
Yep. I was born in Towson, and I'm from Dover, Delaware.
Okay. So, I mean, you got a little familiarity with the area. Philly's not that far away, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, it's not far.
Very cool. All right. Before we let you go, we always like to get to know guys when we have them on the show. So I'm going to go rapid fire with some questions here, a little off the beaten
Okay.
path stuff. So I want to start with your favorite movie.
Favorite movie? Killers. It's called Killers.
When was that? I don't know that movie.
Yeah, I think it was like probably like early 2010, around that time.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
Is it Ashton Kutcher and Katherine Heigl?
Yep. You're right.
Oh wow! I've got my producer Darius just brought it up. He's showing me a picture. I've never even heard of this movie, and I like both of them, so that's funny.
Yeah. Nah. You gotta watch it. It's a good movie.
All right, I'll check it out. Who is your favorite actor?
Favorite actor? That's hard. I'd say Michael B. Jordan. One of my favorite actors. Or Chadman.
Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, he was good.
Yep, Chadwick. Yep,
legend.
Black Panther, and yeah, he played in a lot of good. He had a lot of great roles in a lot of good movies.
Totally agree. All right, how about if you're going out? Sounds like you said you've got a girlfriend, so you guys are going out for like a night. What's your preference? What do you like to do? Like nice dinner? Do you like to go Top Golf, or are you go to a club guy? What is your go-to activity?
My go-to activity, I'd say definitely go out like on an activity, like Top Golf or like go-karting or things like that, and then finish it off with maybe like a little dinner somewhere. That's my go-to date.
Favorite cheat meal?
Cheat meals? Ooh, that's a hard one. I say my favorite ice cream is cookies and cream. So, I'll eat that every once in a while.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Jordan Magee, you are off the hot seat. There you go. We got to know you a little bit. I appreciate the time, and we welcome you to the big city here in the district. It's going to be fun to watch you play for the Commanders.
Most definitely, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Best of luck to you.